Well, we're back. This is our official second take. We don't know what happened, and this is why we don't spend a great deal of time on technology. So we're just picking up where we left off. So Bridget was mentioning that the Nike uniform is ordered directly through them. You get a link, you pay them directly, and then your stuff gets mailed to you. So your uniform cost is what she had mentioned, and then there is tax and shipping, after you check out. One thing that I was mentioning is that Nike has a big inventory, but there's so many clubs ordering from California to Florida and everywhere in between that their inventory gets depleted very quickly. So essentially what happens is, because the turnaround is so quick from the time that we have tryouts to the time that we play, we have to get those uniform orders in almost within a week. So just know that that's upcoming. As soon as we get it, we will send it, and then you'll be able to order directly through them. We just don't have any wiggle room with that, because if we don't get it in time, we simply don't have the equipment to play. So now Bridget's going to talk about the other stuff, and hopefully this will be our last take on this video today.
Okay, so one way to offset our costs is our fundraiser, and we've been doing this for a long time, and it has been very successful. And we both live on the whole thing, like, if it's not broke, don't change it. This fundraiser really works well to help offset costs. And essentially how it works is every family is required to sell 10 raffle tickets at $10 a piece, so a total of $100, and it's an easy sell. First prize is $10,000. So it's super simple. Take them to Thanksgiving, take them to family functions, $10 with the chance to win $10,000. Anything over the first 10 that you sell, 100% goes back to you. And just to kind of give you an idea, if you were to sell 50 tickets, which is $500, the first 100 goes towards the raffle. And then you would receive a check in the amount of $400 at the completion of the raffle and at the completion of all the proper paperwork that needs to be signed and things like that. The drawing is not until usually the weekend of the scrimmage. So that's when it's drawn. And then all the other stuff takes about, with the holidays and stuff, about 3 to 4 weeks. So usually by the end of January, I start cutting the refund checks. Your sales do not offset a payment plan or anything like that. Those still happen as is. The fundraiser money is separate than the other, so they don't get mixed. But then at the completion of it, you would get a refund check. So that's a great way for people to offset their costs, and it's not a terrible thing at the end of it to be getting some money back. So we realize, she said 4 kids. Sometimes fundraiser. You just don't want to do it. So we do offer an opt-out option. When you're going through your registration process, you would have the option to opt out for $75, and then you don't get tickets. You're not required to sell tickets, and you would just not be a part of the raffle. And we understand that sometimes people like a choice, and that is the choice if you don't want to sell them. So if people have specific questions about that, you can always ask me. You get your tickets, your first booklet of tickets, at the paperwork drop-off, which is the next thing I'm going to talk about. So you can start selling those right away. Once you sell them, you can get more tickets from your daughter's coach when they come into practice, or whatever coach is in charge of handing out tickets at those particular practices. And then you just keep selling them. I record everything, and then at the end, you would get, like I said, that refund check. So the tuition and travel, the uniform, the fundraiser, it brings us to the end. And the next thing we're going to talk about is what to do next. So you're clearly watching this because you went online, you saw that your daughter's number was selected, and this is the first step in the step-by-step. Our second step, which is very, very important for 2 reasons, is the commitment email that is required so that we know that your daughter is, committing to the club. And in the past, and this is still going to stay the same, but we like our families to be able to discuss. We understand that it's a big commitment, not only for financially, but for time, and we want families to have the time to discuss. So our commitment time to email me, and it's right on the stuff with your commitment, is noon on Monday the 28th. But if you'd like to get in the raffle for the free uniform package, we are asking families to commit by 6 p.m. And this is we want you to take the time if you need the time. But if you know you're going to commit and you know that, this is what you're going to do, and you send the email, we'll put you in the raffle to do it. Sometimes you get busy. You leave the tryout, you're going to go to the grocery store, you got to run to Target, the story of our life, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But send the email. And we had, we did this for the youth, and it was a lot of fun, and we do the drawing the next morning and we send an email. But it does give us the opportunity to kind of know our numbers. We always have people reaching out to us looking for if we have openings, things like that. And the sooner we start getting our numbers in, kind of gives us an idea too of either telling people, we don't or we do. And it just kind of helps us with our process. But it is in no way, shape, or form to rush you into making a decision. And if you need until noon the next day, we encourage you to take it and make that decision. After that time, if we don't hear from you, we will assume that you will not be taking your position, and we will be reaching out to other people. So please don't miss that. We would never want there to be a miscommunication, but if you could just send that email, and if you get it in by 6 p.m., you're in the drawing for the free package.
And it's a full package, and it just helps us if you know. And like Bridget said, if you don't know, then don't send it just to send it, certainly. And we hope that this video is informative. We hope that we do a little parent meeting at the tryout. We hope that that's beneficial for you. And quite frankly, many of you guys have been around clubs, so there's not a whole lot of new stuff, but if you know and you can send it and it helps us out and you're eligible for a free uniform package, we're asking you to do that.
Win-win.
Right.
So that's the second step, and that is just as important as watching the video, but probably even a little bit more important so that we know that your daughter is in our numbers for each age division. There's then going to be some other steps. The third step is going to be the registration link to register. Getting in Sport Engine is very, very important. We need that done ASAP, because immediately following this is when all the fun behind the scenes stuff starts to happen. That's when emails are going out. Our youth tryouts are at the beginning of October, so there's a little bit of time before our season starts, November 18th. As you get into the high school and then the 7th, there's not as much turnaround time.
Right.
So now we're talking, it's only a couple of weeks until practices start, and there's a lot of information that we have to get out to you. And through Sport Engine, that's our communication hub. That's where you're going to get everything. We want to make sure that you're not missing when the uniform orders due, when practice schedules are, you need this, all those kinds of things. So please get into Sport Engine just as soon as you can. And then there's a couple of forms. So I will have direct links for everything that we need. We need physical copies of the USAV medical forms, JVA liability and medical forms. We need copies of birth certificates for our high school players for tournaments that they attend. There is the financial agreement. While it is in the system that you initial, we ask that a copy be printed. It's attached to your daughter's file. And so those things are what you will print, fill out, which brings us to our last step, which is our parent drop-off. And on Monday, the 28th, anytime between the hours of 5:30 and 7 at the church. So we practice at Club 1. We also practice at the church, which is right at 59 and like a little,
just
almost
past 143rd.
Between 126.
Less than a mile from our Club 1 facility.
We will have our paperwork drop-off, and samples will be there for the uniforms. So anytime within that hour and a half, you'll come in. If you have the paperwork printed and filled out, you will get through fairly quickly, because you won't have to fill anything out. I do have some copies there, but again, it's a time saver if you can do it beforehand. There will be samples, and you will be able to try all that stuff on, and then we'll communicate with you how to actually order it. But that would be the last thing to do. And again, the step-by-step explains all of this. If you forgot a form, we have the stuff there. If you bring it in, it's less that you have to worry about before. I will have the links are on here to renew your USAV or get a USAV, as well as AAU. And so everything should be hopefully pretty self-explanatory, but we're always available if you have questions. One thing I want to mention, and then I promise I'm done, when you send in your commitment email, I will respond personally to every single one. I know that sometimes in the midst of everything, you're like, did she get it? Does she know? I know if she doesn't know. So I will make sure that I respond to everybody. If a little bit of time goes by, you haven't heard from me, you can always say, hey, did you get it? I'm pretty quick to get through them, but I am getting them all in. So I want to make sure that everybody knows that I'm aware. And one other thing is if you talk it over as a family and you decide that you're not going to commit, please just let me know that too, because then I know right away. I can communicate it to Bree. We can be talking about things. So even if it's just, thank you so much, but we've decided, that helps with the whole process of the numbers as well. So we really look forward to another exciting season. I mean, we're going into a new decade. What did they say? Try something new. They let it all go. So we, and we're in year 11. So we've been doing this for over a decade, which is kind of cool too. So 2019, 2020 is going to be
a great
awesome
year.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
so
we're
super excited and we hope this video has been informative for you. And if you have any other questions, you can certainly reach out, but we'd like to welcome you to the Club One family.
See you soon.